Welcome to the Nurturing Conversation podcast. I am your host, Shell. I want to start by saying thank you to all of the members of the channel. Thank you to Journey with Kiki, Kimberly Davis, Ashray Artist Management, and Poetic Beauty. I truly hope that you are enjoying your channel membership benefits. Welcome again to Nurturing Conversations podcast. I am the host, Shell. Tonight's topic is it's time to pivot. I want to give my disclaimers and we will hop right into the conversation. Next month when I do this, there'll be a whole little video here to give you disclaimers. But anyways, I do not tolerate disrespect. That is towards me, towards anyone that appears on the camera, towards anyone that appears in the chat. It is 2023. You are 29 days into 2023. If you have not decided to change your life for the better, I want you to stick around. Normally, people would tell you to leave. I want you to stick around because hopefully at the end of this conversation, you will have decided to change your course. I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone. You might seem like you are the only person in this great big old world that are experiencing the things that you are experiencing, but you are not alone. People struggle, suffer, endure, overcome all types of things. Many people just aren't willing to talk about it or share their experiences. I am. Two, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. Again, I am not a mental health professional. There will be curse words. If you are sensitive to curse words, there will be curse words. I don't say a lot of them, but I do say some from time to time. My opinions are my opinions. Your opinions are your opinions. We are here to have a nurturing conversation in regards to those opinions. That is pretty much all of them. There may be tears. I got to throw that in there. There may be tears because, sometimes topics be a little emotional. So I am someone who cries. So you might see some tears. I'm just giving you advance warning of things. Tonight's topic is it's time to pivot. It's time to pivot. Like always, a lot of these topics I choose because I feel like people should be talking about things. I I feel like a lot of people, we as humans don't talk as much. We'll tweet, we'll text, we'll post on social media, we'll subliminal post, subliminal, however you say that word, post, but we won't actually talk to the people that we really need to talk to. And I want to encourage you today on this beautiful Sunday, the last Sunday of January. I want to encourage you to change, pivot, do the opposite of what you were doing before. Hello, Kimberly Davis. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. I want to encourage you to do the opposite. I was sitting here thinking, and I said, every time it's like December 31st and it's going into New Year's, well, it's about to be a new year. We make vision boards, vision books. We got New Year's resolutions. We got all these hopes, dreams, and aspirations, right? Um, we got all these hope, dreams, and aspirations. But then when we aren't not successful in those things in the first couple of months, first couple of days, weeks, minutes, hours, we feel like we've failed or we feel like we've let ourselves down, right? I for one am someone that likes to evaluate, reevaluate, evaluate where I want to see myself. Like what is it that I want to do with my life? When the pandemic hit, I had all these before the pandemic hit, I had all these hopes, dreams, aspirations. I had just completed a successful MKE Live Groove Edition concert series. I was doing it, right? I was doing everything that I set out to do. And then the pandemic hit, right? And I'm not even going, Jack, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for your continued support. I appreciate it. Um, the first, say 3 months of the pandemic, I was preparing. I was making sure that I had food, I had water, I was making sure everything was good. Y'all see my things is working. Ooh, your girl is figuring stuff out. Thank you, Kimberly Davis, for helping me figure all this stuff out. Uh, Anyways, so I was figuring out what I was going to do because it was like, oh, lockdown, you can't go nowhere, you can't do anything. So I was like, no, 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 no. I've been waiting for this moment my entire life. I literally told people around me one day we gonna be able to sit at home and go to the doctor. They looked at me, they laughed, they thought it was a joke. They was like, "Oh, that ain't gonna happen." And then the pandemic hit, right? And now we could go to the doctor online, we could order food, all this stuff, right? So I was like, how does this change my trajectory and where I wanted to be in life, right? I knew that I wanted to help artists, and I knew that I wanted to be able to do it in a comfortable space. What's more comfortable than my home? Right here in front of this camera, talking to you right now. What's more comfortable in that? For me, nothing. So I'm sitting here like, okay, I can't go nowhere. I can't do anything. What do I do? And I started to turn to social media and I started to watch, I started to really study Twitch. Twitch was, well, I was already streaming on YouTube, but Twitch was the first platform that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do live streams. And the thing that I figured out about myself during the pandemic, this, follow me, this is going somewhere. The thing I realized about myself during the pandemic is I like live. I like live interaction. I like being able to talk to people immediately. Like I'm talking to you and you respond to me. I enjoy conversations. I love making videos. I do love making videos, creating content. I love that. But I love the live interaction. And so I began to study people on Twitch and I began to notice a common theme. There weren't too many African Americans on Twitch. And then I would talk to people around me like, hey, why are you not on Twitch? And everybody had this idea that um it was just for video games. And I'm trying to express to them, like, no, there's people, cooking, there's people going for a walk, there's all these different things. And no one was like interested because it was like, nah, I don't play video games or whatever. So then I began to study Twitch, and I was like, you know what? Um, I'm gonna do a live stream. First live stream ever. I was like, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be 40 hours. I was turning 40. You ever have a moment in your life where you're like, I need something serious to happen for me? I need something so big, so serious. You asking for the biggest sign ever or the smallest sign ever. You like, I need this to happen because I want something to change in my life. I was like, I'm going to do this live because I needed to get back to me. What is me? Who is me? Whatever. I am a creative. I am a creative at heart. And for so long, I put my creativity on a shelf and I just existed. I put my creativity on the shelf and I just existed. I just existed in life. I just existed in circles. I just existed. I was doing the routine every day, get up, work, come home from work, eat, and I was doing the routine. But pandemic happened. I can't do my routine anymore. Something has to change. I had to pivot. So I'm doing a 40-hour stream, right? Never streamed to be 40 hours before ever in my life. This is something totally new, something different. I streamed from June 24th, 2020, all the way to June 26th, 2020 for 40 hours. Now, here's how I did that. I got the people around me to help me. So if I was tired, I was still on live. My stream was still live and they were assisting me or they were telling their stories or who they are or whatever. And for 40 hours, I was live. At the end of that 40 hours, I cried. I cried because I woke up, not literally, but I woke up and was like, I'm going to stream for 40 hours. Never did it before ever in my life, but I accomplished that. In that 40 hours, I made so much music. I explored different genres. I started meditating. I started meditating during the 40-hour stream. And since then I do meditations in the morning and I do meditation in the night. But coming February, I'm gonna do meditation 3 times a day, just because I feel more people need to take a minute out of their day and just breathe and be thankful and enjoy the moment that we are existing, where there's not a lot of noise around us and there's not someone asking us to do something or there's not someone requiring us or depending on us. It's just a moment where we just have that free time just to think. So I did all of that, right? And now I'm like, okay, I did that. What else do I do? So I began to study the different communities, study the different communities that's on Twitch. And I was like, you know what? I really feel comfortable here. So I'm going to do it. Now, the thing that I also realized is I am the type of person that I didn't like to broadcast what I do, right? I just like to do it and it just be done. And, I'd be happy that I did it and I move on. And so I said, coming into 2023, I said I was going to be more vocal about my accomplishments. I was going to be more vocal about the things that I'm doing. I'm going to be more vocal. I'm going to be more vocal and visual. So that means that for the rest of my life, you're going to get photos, videos, and audio of me. So I crossed over into 2023. I've been streaming. So let's say I've been streaming for 2 years. Yeah, I was streaming from 2021, 22 for 2 years, right? So I was doing a stream last year, just any regular old stream, and I was like, wait, I got a message and it said, welcome to affiliate. I never thought about I didn't think about being an affiliate at first, but that kind of changed the way that um I offer things. Before you're just trying to figure out your niche, or we're not even going to talk about words like that. Before you're trying to figure out what the fuck works for you, and I was really trying to figure out what works for me. I was trying to figure it out because I wanted it to feel good to me. I didn't want to just do things because I was trying to get people to watch me. I didn't want to do that. I'm not in that space in my life. I'm in a space in my life where it's like our real life needs something to change, or something got to change. That's it. Something has to change. So I began to go on a journey of healing and self discovery. I began to go on the inside and face those things that I've been running from for so long. Face the fear of rejection, face the fear of abandonment, like face all of those things, right? The more I face, I told you I started meditating during in 2020. So I started meditating. I started like dealing with the issues. I started dealing with the issues. And as I began to deal with the issues, I began to realize that I was the thing that was holding myself back from a lot of things, right? You ever have a moment where you're like, man, I really want to write that book, but I don't know how to write a book. I've never wrote a book. You read books all the time, but you're just like, I don't know where to begin, or I don't, who gonna read my book, or why would people read my book, right? I had all these different things in my head. But one day while I was meditating, I was like, you know what? There is somebody out there who is enduring, have endured, who's struggling. Somebody out there needs to know that they are able to overcome what they are going through. And I said to myself, I need to tell somebody that. I don't need, it's not like I need the whole world to hear. I just need to tell that one person. I need to say, listen, it may look dark right now. Keep pushing. It may look dark. It may appear dark. It may feel dark. But if you open your eyes, I can guarantee you see a speck of light. And as long as you can see a speck of light, it is going to be okay. Even if you can't see a speck of light, it is going to be okay. I wanted to talk about It's Time to Pivot tonight because for so long, I was just going through the motions. I was going to church. I was giving it to God. I'm not saying that you shouldn't give it to God or go to church. Well, I'm telling you what I did. So I was going to church. I was giving it to God. I was doing all of that, but nothing was changing. Nothing happened. No, there was no significant push or motion or motivation or inspiration. There was nothing. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to switch up everything. I switched up everything from my hair to my clothes to everything. Everything around me had to change. And the thing about it, right, is if you've been doing something for so long, you already have like a foundation. So say you want to say you want to start a YouTube, right? You haven't done a YouTube before. You don't even know what to do. Say you want to start a YouTube and you're like, okay, 2023, I'm going to be a YouTuber. What do I need to do to be a YouTuber? All you need is a phone. How do I do that? You pick your phone up. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I am going to be eating food, doing pranks, sleeping, whatever you're going to do on your channel. Follow me, subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe. And then you post it, right? Say your first video don't get a lot of likes, right? Say your first video don't even get recognized by anybody. Say you look at your first video and you're like, nah, I don't like the way I said too many times. I feel like a lot of times we are our own hindrance. We are our own reason why we are not successful. I say pivot because if you've been doing the same thing, if you've been sitting there since 2020 saying that you're going to start a YouTube and you have not started a YouTube yet, I'm going to ask you this question. What is your hindrance? That should be that should be. What is stopping you? I know people be like, oh, I need lights, I need tripods, I need cameras, I need all of these things. Listen, I'm going to tell you, let me save you a lot of time and a lot of money. Yeah, you could get all of those things. You could. You could. Or you could just pick up your phone and start recording. If you've been saying since 2020 that you wanted to start a YouTube and you haven't started one now, I want to challenge you. We are about to go into Black History Month, one of the greatest months outside of June. I want to challenge you to start your YouTube. Even if you don't do anything but put up an introduction video, start your YouTube. If you want to write a book, Put the outline, create the outline. You want to start a makeup line. What kind of makeup you gonna sell? You gonna sell lip gloss? You gonna sell eyeshadow? You gonna sell lashes? You gonna sell sponges? Like, what are you going to sell? Like, have a plan, right? For so long we've been doing the same thing over and over. Like, one day I'm gonna be rich. One day I'm gonna win the lottery. One day I'm gonna be so wealthy. But you're not doing any. You're not taking the necessary steps to get there. You want to be rich and you have this idea in the back of your head that you've been holding on to. It's like, yeah, one day I'm going to be free, or one day I'm going to have the money to do it. And maybe life is just like, we just want you to step out there. We just want it to come out of your mouth, past your lips, and put it in the universe and say, I'm going to start a business. We just want that to happen, because then it'd be like, you know what? I want to start a t-shirt line, right? And then next thing you know, you on your social media. I don't know if you ever had this happen. You'd be like, I really want an RGB light. And then you go on your Google, and then they pop up all these RGB lights. So you scrolling on your Facebook and it's all these RGB. All you have to do is say, I want to start this business. This being whatever business it is, right? And I can guarantee you, given the digital age we are living in, all of the resources will start coming to you. Now, some of them might not be good for you to check out, but I can guarantee you they will come. I could guarantee you that. If you have a phone, I could guarantee you you'll go and search something, and right at the top of there is going to be what you said out loud. I think we should start encouraging even our kids, right? I don't have kids. I have to say that. I feel like I have to say that as a disclaimer. I don't have to, but I feel like I have to say that as a disclaimer, because most people are like, you don't have kids, so you don't know. I've raised kids for forever. Did y'all see the little eye roll? I raised kids for forever. But here's the thing, right? I think we should start encouraging more people to pivot. If you've been like people playing basketball. So here's a conversation I had, right? I said, why isn't it that when people, we put our kids in AAU, we do like middle school, high school, we do all of like the basketball, right? And I was like, why don't they encourage like coaches or general managers or team owners or sportscasters? Like, why isn't that something that is like encouraged in case you don't make it to the NBA? You know, like, here's a pivot for you. Maybe you're not going to make it to the NBA. Maybe you can go overseas and play basketball, or maybe you can become a basketball coach, or maybe you can become, like, are so many different options, but it's like, how come we don't encourage that? Like, people be telling me, I'm like, hey, you want to start a YouTube? What do you want to do your YouTube on? Most people have no idea. They just want to do, like the food challenges and the pranks and all of those things. But what are you passionate about? What makes you just smile and become overwhelmed with, like, man, that just, it makes my day. What is that for you? I tell people, like, they're like, hey, Shell, I want to do a YouTube. What should I do? I was like, what are you passionate about? One person was like, I'm passionate about fixing cars. And I was like, well, set your camera up the next time you fixing cars. Because let me tell you all this, right? I be on YouTube figuring out everything. YouTube has helped me figure out how to change my brakes on my Yukon XL 2001. I figured out how to change my brakes. I figured out how to it's a sensor, oxygen sensor. I figured out that I needed a new one of those without even plugging it up into the little thing. I figured it out. There's this guy, I forgot his name, but he's on YouTube. He's like one of the biggest mechanic YouTubes. And I was like, you could do that. Well, they already got that. So in my mind, I was like, so because someone else is already doing a mechanic YouTube, you not gonna do it? Like, they was like, "Show you can't do a podcast on YouTube," because I was like, why can't I do a podcast on YouTube? I could do a podcast on YouTube and take the audio from the podcast on YouTube and put it on Spotify and all those other places. And I could chop up all this video and put it on other platforms. You could do that? Yes, you could do that. I was telling somebody, I said, you could really touch people. This is what I think, right? I think a lot of people have money on the mind. It's like money. Now, let me give my disclaimer. I understand you need money to pay bills. I understand you need money to travel. I understand you need money to do things. I do. I get that. But when I think about YouTube, I don't think about money. I thought about building a community, getting to know people outside of where I live, getting to know other people, understand other people, interact with other people. Like that's why I do YouTube and Twitch and TikTok, and I be going lives and doing these karaoke's because I be wanting to build a community. I thought like the first time I did my karaoke, I was nervous and I was like, man, why don't people do karaoke on social media? It, sorry, y'all. Here, sit right here. I tried to see how long I could do this podcast without her coming in. It didn't last long. Um, so I'm pivoting. You see, I had to pivot right there. I made her a little space. Y'all gonna hear Coco Melon because that's what y'all gonna get. Because if I don't, then she gonna scream and cry, and I don't want her to scream and cry. She just wants to be by me. That's all. So I pivoted. Hold on. You gotta turn it down a little bit more, okay? Okay. Okay. Pivot. You gotta pivot if things aren't working out. If things aren't working out, if things aren't where they want where you want them to be, pivot. I was here on YouTube and so much stuff happened on YouTube for me, good and bad. And I was just like, I'm gonna take a pause from it. I'm gonna take a pause from it and I just need to reevaluate. I need to reevaluate why do I do YouTube? What drew me to YouTube? Why do I do it? I needed to reevaluate that. And for that, I needed to take some time away and find me. I'm still on a journey of healing and self discovery. I'm figuring out like my space is light, love, and positivity. That's my space. My space is working out. My space is showing juices. My space is helping artists. My space is helping people, period. My space is being a listening ear. My space is being able to offer non judgmental advice. That's my space. I know my lane. I'm not. Um, I'm not trying to do anything outside of my lane. Maybe it's because I'm 43 now or 42, about to be 43. But at this point in my life, I don't want to do anything extra. I don't want to spend time trying to do something that I know I'm not passionate about. I'm like in a space where it's like if I'm not passionate about it or I don't have that, ooh, let me do it, I'm not going to do it. I don't care how much money is involved with it. I don't care how the status could change me. If I don't have that, I need to do this, I'm not going to do it. I pivoted from um, doing a lot of things that I thought were like, I thought was me. I thought it was me because I enjoyed doing it, but I don't. It's not. Someone asked me, it's like, why do you work on that side of helping artists? And when I say that side, it's like the music administration, the business side of helping artists. And it's like, you could go over here and you could make so much more money because you could do this and you got the skills and all of that. And I was like, but that's not me. I don't want to just be like, yeah, I got buku money off of getting the artist to hear, but then years down the line, the artist is broke or they don't have anything. I'd rather sit over here and be like, hey, listen, we need to take care of all of this so that in the event something happened to you, this music will pass on to your kids and to your kids' kids and to your grandkids, to everybody. Like your entire musical legacy will be safe. Like that's where I'm at, right? I I got a no a startup tech company, right? And so I've been sitting for the last year trying to figure out where I'm going to go. Trying to figure out where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do. Because the thing that I was really against was pivoting. I was really against pivoting. So it's funny that I'm telling you it's time for the pivot. It's time to pivot. But I was really against pivoting because I was like, you know what? Um, how do I get people to know how do I get artists to know the importance of one song? How do I get you to know the importance of one song when there's like 50, 11 people telling you to just put out mass songs, right? How do I get you to know the importance of one song and how that one song can fuel the rest of your life and everybody else's life, like I just told y'all? But how do I get you to know that? How do I be that one thing that pierces your ears in all of the noise? How do I do that? So I spent a lot of time and I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to hop off the porch and I'm just going to say what needs to be said in a nurturing way. And I'm going to help artists. No sooner than I say that, no sooner than I say I'm going to pivot and go this direction, it seemed like all of the resistance I was feeling before, all of the things that were like, I felt like were keeping me stagnated, disappeared. I kid you not, they were like, it disappeared. And when I told y'all earlier, where when you say out of your mouth and it goes past your lips and you say, I really want to help artists, I really want to write a book, I really want to start a film career, I really want to be successful in life. Once it passed your lips, the next step, it should be you walking in that. I pivoted my entire business, and I don't know if y'all just saw what happened, but that's what happens every time I think about it now. Before, it was like, oh, I don't know if this is what I really want to do because it's gonna be a lot. It's like it was overwhelming me, and I was just like, ooh, yeah. But then when I was like, no, I'm gonna pivot, and this is what I'm gonna focus on. It brought me joy. It brought me so much joy. It's like it freed me from doubt and worry and insecurity. It freed me from all of that because this is my strong point. I pivoted from what was to what is, and it's like this is my lane, this is where I'm comfortable at. And I'm saying all that because maybe you are in a job, or maybe you are even in a relationship, right? Maybe you are in a relationship and you see marriage and the other person just see companionship. It could be a time for you to make a pivot. Pivot to somebody who actually sees marriage. Because if you're in a relationship with somebody who just seeing companionship, I don't know how y'all gonna get to marriage. I mean, I do know how, because you could like, hey, you gonna marry me or not? But it's time to pivot. If you've been doing the same thing since 2019, it's definitely time for you to pivot. If you haven't switched it up, if you haven't taken advantage of the monetization of all social platforms, you definitely need to pivot. Definitely. I be telling music artists this all the time. I say, hey, how's it going? What's going on with your social media? How's it going? Oh, I'm not on social media. I don't do that. Like, I get it. We don't want people to be all up in our business. We don't want, but listen, if you post on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere, everybody in your business. Google already be in your business. Google could tell you where you were 2 seconds ago. Google could actually tell you, Siri could actually tell you your favorite places to go. Did y'all know about that? I saw a video where they said it could tell you the last 100 places you went. Like, it could tell you your favorite places you go often. Google can tell you that. And you know, like, people be all up in people's business. You know, them people that be tapping in. All they have to do is tap in and they know where you at. So for you to be like afraid, I'm at the point right now in my life where I would rather give you the information. What you do with it, hey, it is what it is. I'm going to give you the information though. I'm going to give you the information to make sure that you are better. Every day, I have videos that I need to post up for this week. But every day I do a positive affirmation and I say, here's a positive quote. We should be better. 3 years ago, that seems so weird. 3 years ago, there was a global fucking pandemic that shut the entire world down. The queen, everybody was in the same predicament. It was like life was like, you know what? We're going to do an instant reset and everybody going to have the same option. Of course, there were people still rich and all of those things, but they was in the same predicament as you. They didn't know how their business was going to flourish. A lot of businesses closed. They didn't know. None of us knew. And a lot of people was thoughtful enough to say, you know what? I'm going to take my talents and I'm going to use them in a digital space. That was me. I'm going to take my talents and use them in a digital space. Even this, even this here podcast, right? 2 years ago, I was like, you know what? I just want to have a space where people could come and we could just talk about shit that we just, been on our mind or on our hearts. Let's just talk about it, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do Sunday night dinner and convo. Cause what happens when you eat dinner? You always talk. You talk about your day. You talk about what somebody said. You talking about everything, right? So I was like, I'm gonna do Sunday night dinner and convo, and I had it at 7. I tested it at 8. I tested it at 9, and 7 seemed to work, so I stuck with that, right? So I'm like, no, I really want this to be a podcast. So every Sunday, I would download the video, I would download the audio, and I have a whole folder for it. It was like, I'm gonna turn it into a podcast. I'm gonna turn it into a podcast, and then 2022 came, and I said, either you gonna turn this into a podcast or you gonna keep talking about it being a podcast, and then you gonna get mad because you're gonna see somebody else doing a podcast with your name and your title similar to yours, and then you're gonna be mad knowing that you had that idea, knowing that you had that's what you want to do. You ever have that moment you see somebody that do makeup, you be like, man, I should have did that look 5 months ago. You should have did that look 5 months ago. You thinking about it right now. You like, man, I got an idea for a children's book, and I think it would be a hit. You gonna sit on that children's book, and you gonna sit on that because you don't got the resources, you don't got the money. I'm gonna tell you, you can Google, YouTube, and Google. Should be two of the things that you do, right? You can Google and YouTube how to write a children's book, right? And just do the outline. You can make it all on your Canva is another great resources. Canva, Google, and YouTube. You can make your outline for the book, what you want it to look like. Put it all together, right? So I'm sitting here like, I want to, and I say, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. If it failed, guess what I know? I know that I could go back to the drawing board. I know that 7 o'clock works. I know that people will come if there's food. It will work. So 2022, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put the name on it. I've had this name since the beginning of the pandemic. I was calling it Nurturing Conversations, but I wasn't saying it. I would just say, welcome to Sunday Night Dinner and Convo. I wouldn't say it out loud. I was like, welcome to Nurturing Conversations, Sunday Night Dinner and Convo. In 2022, I was like, I gotta pivot. I gotta stop being afraid. This is, I gotta stop being afraid and just do it. I know that's a Nike slogan, but I'm gonna say it. Just gotta stop being afraid and just do it. Say what needs to be said, do what needs to be done, and in the event that it don't work, you could always go back to the drawing board, take what worked and what didn't work, and figure it out. I was sitting here and I was thinking about pivots, right? I was like, when you're a child, or I had to learn how to walk 3 times. I had to learn how to walk 3 times. That's a story for another day. Stories for another day. But I thought about it like, when you think about it, like right now, think about it. Right? When you think about walking, right? You think about it's like second nature. You just get up and you start walking, right? But when you've experienced a traumatic medical situation, or you experience a situation where you lose your ability, you then become more what's the word I'm looking for? You become more, it's more prevalent to you on how you actually walk, right? So I'm thinking about, okay, I have to walk. I have to like put one foot in front of the other. And you look at kids and you be like, oh, it's so easy. Let me hold your hand while you walking. You ever notice how many times kids fall? They walk and they fall, and they don't just be like, I'm not gonna walk because I keep falling. No, they get up and they try it again. They hold on to the wall, they hold on to the table, they hold on to your hand. It's the support of it, right? Sometimes when you have to do a pivot, most people don't pivot because they don't feel like they have the support. But if you think about it, right, you have a community. I've been here, I've experienced a major medical situation, and it was the people in my everyday life, but it was the people in YouTube. It was the people on my Twitch. It was the people that follow me on TikTok. Like it was your messages that you sent to me that was like, man, I was here. I am just making videos, just positive affirmation, juicing and workout videos, and just sharing my sharing my success stories with y'all. But then when I was like in a place where it's like, y'all were sending me messages, emails, DMs, just inspiring me. It's like building a community of people. It's like you do a YouTube and you say, "Hey, I'm a artist and I want y'all to see what it's like to be in my life making music, or as a father who makes music, or as a mother who makes music, or as a couple, whatever it is, and you showing us who you are, we will be more inclined to get to know you. We would be more inclined to, you have a concert, I'm gonna come to your concert. I would be. I'm just saying for me, like I would be, if I know who you are as a person, I would be more inclined to participate in whatever you're doing. People subscribe to people YouTubes because they like what they do. There's some kind of connection to them. Oh, you made me laugh in one of my darkest moments, or oh, you gave me inspiration. So that's why we follow people. That's why people do what they do. So if you think about that, right? If you think about that when you get ready to write your book, or you get ready to start your YouTube, or even if you want to start a business, right? I definitely want to encourage you in this day and age to um, start a business. Start, and I'm not saying just start a business because I think everybody should start a business, but I'm saying if you are watching this, if you are listening to this, and you know that I just struck a nerve to you, because you probably just told somebody this the other day, you probably sitting here right now like, I was going to do my vision board for this week. You probably really ready to step out, and you probably thinking like, but where the money going to come from, or how am I going to get to do this? If you know people who are already in that space, if you know people who are already doing the things that you want to do, reach out to them. Reach out to them. Ask them how did they get there. The only thing that they could tell you is, well, they could say, yes, here's the information, or they could say no. If they say no, move on to the next one. I was telling somebody, I said, we have become accustomed to doing things like on a hamster wheel. I know I just compared us to hamster, but I'm saying we get so used to doing the same things that we don't want to do different. I thought about thank you. I thought about when you experience a breakup, right? Or you're in a relationship. We're gonna talk about relationships right now. You experience a breakup, or you're in a relationship, and the shit just ain't working out. You know the shit ain't working out. You're really trying to get it to work because you really love and you really care for that person. You really do. But you know it's not fucking working out. So then it's like, but if I leave, then I have to be single, I have to date again, I have to do all these different things. And you're thinking about the wrong thing. Here's what you should be thinking about. You're pivoting from a relationship where you aren't valued, because if you were valued, it would be working. Like it would be alignment, right? You should start focusing more on you. Like, why am I staying here and I know this doesn't make me happy? Why do I continue to pour into someone who doesn't see me? It's time to pivot. I was talking to someone, I was like, you know what the thing of it is we are afraid to be alone. I don't know what happened in life, but we are literally, like, human beings fear being alone. Maybe it was because God said it's not good for man to be alone, allegedly. Allegedly. I'm saying allegedly because that's what he allegedly said. Maybe that's what it is. We don't want to be alone. We will take we will tolerate shit that any other day we wouldn't have tolerated it. Had it been one moment, y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Oh, I done lost the light. Sorry, y'all. Toddler, toddler difficulties. That's what I'm gonna call it. Toddler difficulties. See, I just have to pivot again. I don't have to pivot how many times in this conversation? Sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta do what's best for you. This is why I'm encouraging a pivot. It's the last Sunday of January. It's the last Sunday of January, right? If you in the beginning January 1st you came in, you was like, yeah, I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna, do all of that, and you done drunk 15 sodas already, and it's only the 29th day of January. Oh my god. Can you close the door? She's back. I don't know. We gotta figure something out with this toddler and this podcast. 'Cause maybe it's gonna be toddler. I don't know. We gotta figure something out. Lost my complete train of thought because the toddler got in a door that I just locked. I locked the door. How she got in, I don't know. And you're probably thinking like maybe you didn't lock it. No, I knew that door was locked. Pandemic kids, they're different. I'm telling you. Anyways, pivot. That's what I was talking about. Pivot. January, the last Sunday. That's where I'm at. Okay, the last Sunday in January, right? We're about to go in Black History Month, right? We're about to. That means there's only 11 more months left in this year. You said I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna diet. I'm gonna do all of these things, and you done drunk 15 sodas. See, I knew I was gonna work my way back. You done drunk 15 sodas right now, right? And now you feeling like, oh man, maybe I'll try it next month or next week or next start. You already started and you already know you done drunk 15 sodas. Sodas is your crutch. Don't drink another soda. Replace it with like water or teas or I'm sorry, y'all. At least I get to see that the be right back screen works. I mean, pivoting. I'm pivoting. Is what it's all about. You got to be able to adapt to changes that are beyond your control. Pivot. Those are beyond my control. Y'all see, I was trying to control them. I was trying. It didn't work. She's crying. If you want to know, I said she was going to cry. She's crying in the other room. I'm pretty sure we give her like 10 minutes. She'll probably be back. She'll probably be back. I had to, put her in another room. Anyways, if you have hopes, dreams, and aspirations, and it's January 29th and you haven't accomplished not one of those things, you can still start again fresh in the morning. You want to work out, start again fresh in the morning. I I started working out in 2020. I started doing home workouts, and I'm gonna tell you why I started doing that. Right, I went to the gym. I went to Planet Fitness. I went to Experience Fitness. I went to all these different places. You paying $10 a month. You don't even go to the gym. Have you ever noticed that? Like that's a bill that you paying every month and you don't even go. And then 6 months later, you're like, oh my God, I've been paying for this and I ain't even go. And I think we like to think about going to the gym because it's like, yeah, then we take our little like snippets on TikTok and Snapchat and all that stuff. And we doing our little reels and stuff. Look at me working out, and then you don't go back ever. I started working out at home because I was like, if I can do it at home, it becomes less of like that that thing. I don't even know what the word up for it is, but it becomes less of that. It becomes more of like, man, I'm doing this from the comfort of my own home. And then I started working out and I started looking at workout videos. I realized about me, like, I like to research things before I actually do them because I want to at least have some sense of how it works, right? So I'm sitting at home, I'm researching different workouts or whatever, and I'm looking at all these different people that's working, and I was like, wait a minute. Don't nobody look like me that's working out. And when I say look like me, I'm a BBW. I'm a beautiful, big black woman. That's what I am, right? And so I'm like, nobody look like me and they working out. So I was like, let me start working out. And of course, you got the trolls that come and be like, you too big to be moving, all of those things. But then you have more people that come and be like, man, thank you for working out. I do chair workouts. I do all kinds of workouts from high level intensity to low level intensity because I think more people need to see people working out. You don't just have to go to the gym and be pumping all these arms. You can get you some 2 pound weights and do something as simple as this, and your arms can start to form. Now, don't talk about my arms. Don't worry because I'm about to get back on my workout thing too. Um, I worked out 2020, 2021, 2022. I had a major surgery, so I couldn't, the majority of 2022, I had just had a major surgery on my abdominal area, so I couldn't, work out. So I was testing. I do a lot of testing. I'm going to say that. Test it. Before you pivot, test it. There's nothing wrong with testing. There's nothing wrong with testing, doing a trial. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like we should encourage more people to do that, right? I took working out. I'm like, okay, I can do this. It's something I love to do. I love to work out at home. I really realized that I could do a home workout session. I could really do those. So 2023, I'm gonna have workout sessions. You can join me. You cannot join me. You could do it from the comfort of your own home. You don't even have to go anywhere. You could use everyday things around the house. I think that's what I'm getting to, right? We feel like we need all of these major big things in order for us to be great when you could take the smallest thing. And what's the smallest thing is the phone that you have in your hand and be great. I remember a time where people would try to get, man, I want to be known worldwide. I want everybody to know I want all of this, right? And then I started to think about we live in a digital age. All you have to do is go live on your phone on any platform and you will touch people all across the world. Every night, this is a shameless plug. Every night, around 11:30, I go live and I play Call of Duty Mobile on Twitch. I stream it on Twitch, right? I've played with people from all across the world because nighttime here, where I live, is like daytime or afternoon where they live. So I'm playing with people all across the world, right? So I go to check my analytics and I'm like, okay, the US is where I'm in the United States of America. So of course, some of that's like some of my highest statistics or analytics is where a lot of people are watching me from. But the majority of the people who are watching me from are from like Germany, Trinidad and Tobago, are like from like New Zealand, like they're like from all overseas. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, man, what if music artists um went live and was like, hey, I'm having a writing session, come join me. Like, imagine how many people they would connect with. Imagine if you're a makeup artist and you're just starting out and no, you don't got them the $1 million brushes. I don't even know if they cost $1 million, but y'all know what I'm talking about. No, you don't got all of that. You just somebody at home that got little tips. You got little tips like you put a little duct tape or you put something on your eye. You could draw the little peak. Y'all know the little peak things that be going right here. Maybe you know how to do that good. Maybe you could be the do-it-yourselfer makeup artist, right? The MUA. Maybe you could be the do-it-yourselfer, right? Maybe you don't go and buy at Sephora. Maybe you go to the Dollar Tree and you know how to make that shit look bussing, right? Maybe you could create a YouTube and start talking to those people. Maybe you are somebody who know how to draw and you want to work with somebody who write books. There you go right there. You got a YouTube, you like, hey, I'm a author and I'm looking for an illustrator. And then another person got a YouTube and it's like, hey, I'm an illustrator looking, to branch out into doing books and YouTube series and all of that stuff. Now you done connected with people. Now you done grew your community, right? A lot of times I used to tell my brothers, when we were growing up, they're like, I gotta get this money, got to get this money, got to get. I just thought to myself, like, I never want to be in that. I don't want to be on I gotta get this money. I gotta get this money. I don't want to do anything that does not bring me happiness, especially in this day and age. If it don't make me happy, if it don't bring me joy, if I think about it and I get this, like, you ever like think about going to work in the morning and be like, I gotta go to work in the morning. This fucking job, these fucking people, this fucking manager. Like, you ever think about you notice how your whole energy just went from high to like here. You probably need to pivot and do the thing that you've been wanting to do. You ever you ever have an idea like, man, I should start a business, and then like all the shit around you just start messing up, and you be like, no, I can't start a business right now because look at it, my job acting up, my kids, all of these things is acting up, right? That's because it's like it comes against your natural thought of I should start a business. Because think about it, right? I should start a business, and what happened? Everything around you, and then you be like, oh no, I need this job because I need this money to pay for this and to pay for that. But what if your business can bring you more than that? Like, what if you're in a relationship and you like, I just don't feel appreciated. I don't feel seen. I don't feel respected. I don't feel any of those things. But I've been with you for so long. And then it's like, but I don't want to start all over again. In reality, you're not starting all over again. You're going to take that time and you're going to learn yourself. You're going to learn your likes and dislikes. You're going to date yourself. You're going to really get to know yourself, right? And then when you get to that point where you're ready to date again, you're going to walk in there not like, well, the last person did this. You're going to walk in there and it's like, here's what I want. Here's what I need. Here's what I desire. And if you can't give me those things, this isn't going to work. So I'm going to go over here. People, I've been single for 2.5 years, right? And so people approach me all the time. And some people, this is why I feel a way about this too. So some people, when you say, I'm not ready to date or I'm not interested, some people get it. It's not a lot of people, but some people get it, right? Some people get it. And then you have the people that be like, why? You been single for 2.5 years. It's like, because I'm enjoying me. I'm enjoying understanding who I am and what I like and what I don't like and what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate. And my list that used to be so big has now become so small. Because, I enjoy being alone. That's the thing. I think I was really like contemplating, was like, I'm not afraid of starting over. I don't give a fuck about starting over because it's the it's that when you start over, it's like, somebody know you. It's like an adventure. It's an adventure. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's like an adventure. You ever been on an adventure and it's like, oh, this is exciting. You learning new things, new places. It's exciting. Rather than just be like, oh, well, I just got out of that on Monday and let me hop into something new on Friday. Because now I got to bring your baggage all the way over here. And those people don't deserve that. Pivot. Instead of hopping into something new, test the waters. That's what I'm saying. Test the waters. Try it. Try it. You people be talking to you now, you be thinking like, okay, we're gonna go on a date. And the next thing they're trying to move in. It's a no. We got to get to know each other. That's everybody. When you get older and you start to think back about your life. And I said, I've pivoted a lot of times in my life. I didn't even know like that was what it was, but I just knew that I changed course. I changed course. I changed course. When I was younger, I would change course all the time. And then there's something about when you get older and it's like you want to change course. It's like, oh, I don't want to start over, or that's going to take too much time. But then you think about it. Think about kids, right? They change all the time. One minute they like pink, one minute they like blue, one minute they want to play basketball, then they want to play baseball, then they want to do soccer, volleyball. Change all the time. And I think that's the freedom of being young, or not having as many responsibilities as you become an adult. Like not having as many responsibilities, because now you got lights, house, we energies, wind energy is electric here. Water, you got car notes, you got all of these different things, right? And so then it's like, man, I need to get money. I have to get money because I have to maintain these bills. I have to do that. And so I just started thinking, like, I don't want to live my life like that. I don't want to wake up every day and be like, oh my God, I got to make sure I get this money because if I don't, then I'm going to be homeless. Possibly because I was already homeless before, but then I realized, like, that's not living to me. That's no knock to anybody who that is living. You feel like that is living. That's not living to me. I don't want my everyday to be thought. My everyday thought to be is I gotta get money. I want to wake up and be like, oh, let me call my mother. Let me go visit my mother. Let me spend time with my nieces and nephews. I want to spend time with people that I love, that make me happy. That's what I want to do. I don't want to do anything that's not like that doesn't give me that. That's where I'm at in my life. If I feel like talking to you, if you call me and I feel like talking to you is going to bring my energy from here all the way, it's, hey, you know what? I can't even talk to you right now. I got something to do. What you about to do? Girl, nothing. Go lay down, watch some TV. Do you want? Nope. I was telling somebody, I said 2023 should be the year of me. Like everybody should start thinking about me and start setting boundaries. And if it conflicts with your peace and your happiness, put a boundary there and stand 10 toes down. I don't know if y'all been watching my videos, but this is what I be saying. Set that boundary and stand 10 toes down on the boundary. We need to talk more about like setting boundaries. If you're not interested, you move on from there, set that boundary. You go to work and they want you to do something that requires that, like by law you should be paid extra for. Tell them you're not doing that. Most people don't even read the employment. Most people don't read it, but if you read it, it's like, no, this is what you're required to do, and this is what you're paying me for. If you want me to do that, that's extra. That's extra. That's when we got to be like, okay, if you've been doing the same thing, been going to the same job, been in the same relationship, been going to the same church. Yes, I threw church in there because what people don't realize. Somebody told me, they said, I was going to different churches, and there's this thing that the church world will tell you: you shouldn't church hop. Sorry, it said you shouldn't church hop, and I thought in my mind, I was like, okay, they call the church the hospital, right? Just go with me, follow me. I'm late. I'm going somewhere. Cause they call the church the hospital, right? I was like, yeah. So it's like when you go to the doctor, right, and they tell you, let's say you got cancer. Do you just be like, oh Lord, this doctor just told me I have cancer, and then that just be the end of it? And they was like, no, I want to go get a second opinion. I need to speak to a specialist, all of that. I was like, so, okay. So if you go to church, right, and you don't get what you're supposed to get from here, wouldn't it make sense to go somewhere else to get like, that makes sense to me. Because when I think if I go to a hospital, I just literally went to the hospital. And I was like, okay, this is what it was. I saw one doctor. I didn't believe that lady. She told me I did not believe her. I looks like you got to send somebody else in. Two doctors came in, then a specialist came in, and then they sent me to see another specialist. I'm not just going with one. No, it's not. It's a no for me. I'm not just going to go with one opinion. Back when I was younger, I used to wish that I could be that type of person. Because I'm there's this thing about me. I wish that I could just take things at face value. Like people be like, "Oh, I love you." I wish I could just be like, "Yeah, thank you for loving me." I wish I could, but I believe like your actions, the way you talk to me. I believe all of those things, but show me that you actually love me. Like, so if I've been going to church for 15, 5, 10, 7, 8, 1, 6 months. I say, no, we're not going to say 6 months because you got to give it some time, right? But if I've been going to church for 5, 10, 15, any 5 or more years, right? And if I've been going to church for 5 or more years and ain't nothing changed, you best to believe I'm going to switch it up. You best to believe we got to do something. If I've been going for 5 years and there's been no change, yeah, I get to go to church and I get the catch the spirit, but there's no change in my life, I got to do something different. If I've been giving it to Jesus for 5 years and there's no change, and I know people be like, well, you can't rush God and all of those different things. But if I've been giving it to him for 5 years and ain't nothing changed, we got to do something different. We got to switch it up. I know my religious people that are watching this. I'm not telling you that your God is not. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you got to switch something up. If you've been praying, God bless me with a house, but you still ain't got no house yet, either you got to check yourself or you got to check your God. I didn't want to say check your God, but you got to check your God. Maybe the way you praying to him ain't, it's not getting up there. Maybe somebody is like, Shaq, the Kimbe Mutombo, not here. Maybe that's what's happening. If you are doing the same thing, I want to say if you are doing the same thing that you was doing in 2019 and been trying to do that up until now and you have seen no change, it's time to pivot. It's time to pivot. If you are in the YouTube space and you are doing the same challenges, the same pranks, you're doing the same thing, and we are like, life is moving forward. If there's no forward motion, you're still doing the same thing. That's why I was thinking about my channel. It's like, do people really enjoy these positive affirmations? Am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this? And I'm doing it because every day I feel like when I do the video, I literally be telling myself that. And the more I said, 2020, I said, I'm going to be light, love, and positivity. And I'm going to tell you something that changed. Here's the pivot that changed my life. The more I start to focus on being light, love, and positivity, I stopped talking to a lot of people. I stopped reading a lot, like social media. I post, and other than going live, playing Call of Duty, karaoke, I don't be on social media like that. I be in my everyday life, kicking it, chilling with my family, the people I love. That's what I be doing, right? But the thing I realize is most people be so caught up in like trying to get monetized and trying to get to the money that they lose themselves. I don't want to pivot and lose myself. I want to still be me. I want to just give y'all the best of me. I said, I'm going to pivot and I'm going to be vulnerable, because how many times you watch people on YouTube and you be like, oh, they just putting on for the cameras. It's a good show though. You watch reality TV? Man, that's so sad. That's so sad that they live in a life like that. But that's a good show though. How many of y'all be watching, you know the people that I'm not going to say their names, but y'all be watching and be like, man, they make good TV. That's why all these networks, that's what they do in all these reality TV shows. Let me ask y'all this question, right? When you see reality TV shows, who be the main people that be on the reality TV shows? Now, y'all probably think I'm bringing race. I am bringing race in this, but think about it. Who be the people on the reality TV shows? Anybody got an answer? We do. People of color. We be on them reality TV shows. How many reality TV shows do you see that have predominantly people that are not people of color? We make the best TV. I said it because we do. We make a lot of the best stuff. The best fashion. We make a lot of the best stuff. But think about it, right? How many times have people actually extended a hand to these people and actually helped them? There's these two young people out here right now that I wish I could talk to them. I wish I could talk to the young lady. I wish I could talk to her just to understand, because I watch, like, I don't know if y'all watch, but I watch people, like, I watch when, like, she first got introduced, and I was like, okay. And then I listen to her. I watch and I listen. So I watch and I listen, and I'm just like, dang. We need to have like a whole heal the world. Let's go to therapy. Let's deal with our family dysfunctions. Let's pivot from what happens in this house, stays in this house, to pivot to let's go get some fucking help, because for generations, people have been enduring shit that's been like, while these people up here that's older can like carry that shit, like they strong, they built strong, they can carry that shit. The younger generations, I'm not saying that they're not strong, they just built different. That's what we're going to say. They just built different. You ever like think about if you have an oldest child and your youngest child, like your oldest child would never think about saying some crazy reckless shit to you. Like I would never think about saying some crazy reckless shit to my mother. But my younger brother, I wouldn't put it past them because they're different. They built different. They are built entirely different. We wouldn't dare disrespect our elders. Dare. We wouldn't even breathe to disrespect our elders. We'll just chop it up and be like, damn, all right, and move on. But these the new age, are they gonna tell you how they feel? And a lot of the times they're not wrong. We just didn't have the courage to be like, that was some fucked up shit you said. That's some fucked up shit you did. Cause we had that level. There was a certain level of respect. But as I got older and I started thinking about that shit, we just didn't want to hurt y'all feelings. These younger generations, they don't give a fuck about hurting your feelings. They think more about they self. They think more is self preservation is what it is. If I want your number and you don't want to give it to me, I got it. Self preservation. They wasn't teaching that when I was growing up. When we was taught community, we was like, look out for your brother and sister, look out for your cousin, look out for the people you say you love. That's what we was taught. So that's how I operate. Even to this very day, I look out for everybody. But who I look out for the most? Myself. Because if I'm not at 100%, I can't give anybody else anything. I real life learned that lesson in 2022. It took me pivoting my personal life. Most time when you hear people talk about pivot, it's about professional life. I pivoted my personal life, and instead of um I've never been a let me run to the social media. I've never been one of those type. Um but I pivoted my personal life where usually I would be so into myself I wouldn't tell anybody. I'd just be me handling shit. Like you ever just go through something, you're just like, I don't gotta tell nobody because I'm just gonna handle it. I always handle it by myself anyways. But 2022 changed me. Shit that I would normally handle by myself, I pivoted and I allowed my community, I allowed the people around me in, and it took a lot off of me. Like it freed me from a lot of shit that I was carrying around that wasn't even mine to carrying around. It freed me. The pivot of not handling everything on my own, letting other people in. That's a pivot. I know you probably like that ain't no fucking pivot, girl. You just no. That was a pivot for me for all of my life. I've done everything on my own. If I wasn't able to get it on my own, I was just chalked it up as it wasn't meant for me to have. But in 2022, I just allow other people in, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like there wasn't some disappointment because there was a lot of disappointments. But at the same time, it was lessons that I needed to learn for me. It was lessons that helped me grow as a person. It was lessons that helped me understand that at any time you could start over and there's nothing fucking wrong with starting over. You know why? Because you already been there. You already experienced the hurt. You already experienced the letdown, the disappointment. You already experienced what it feels like to be fearful. You already experienced what it feels like to fail. Maybe you failed a grade. Maybe you failed a relationship. Maybe you failed a marriage. Maybe you failed a job interview. Maybe you failed a job. Maybe you failed at life completely, right? Maybe that's what happened. But guess what? You have the opportunity right now. If you are watching, if you are listening, you can do this. You can breathe and reset. You can write down everything that happened. You can go, okay, this is what happened. This is how I felt. This is what I thought. Acknowledge your emotions. Acknowledge the experiences that you had. You can acknowledge what life taught you in there and move forward. You had a really bad breakup. I had a really bad breakup. So we'll talk about that. I had a really bad breakup, right? And when you experience a breakup, sometimes you'll be like, oh, fuck them, fuck everything that come with them, all of that, right? That wasn't me. For the first time in my life, I wasn't like, fuck, I wasn't all of that. It was just like, I need to figure out me. Because I need to figure out what allowed me to like tolerate shit that you ever have a moment where you be like, I wish a motherfucker would. I wish a motherfucker would get disrespectful with me. I wish a motherfucker would cheat on me. I wish a motherfucker. You ever had one of those moments? I had a bunch of those moments. And as I'm thinking about it, how long did I say, y'all? Tell me how long I said. Here, take it in there. I be knowing. I be knowing. I be knowing. I be knowing my needs. See, this is why I spend so much time. You spend so much time with people, you start to know them. I've I've come here and I shared my breakup and what I was going through in my breakup. I shared all of that. And this is why I shared it, right? Not because so I could put y'all in my business because I don't really care if y'all know my business. I don't really care because I told you. But I wanted you to know like people are real life out here experiencing really bad breakups. And not everybody is like, oh, I'm broke up. Let me go find something new. Not everybody is like that. Some people are just taking the time to find themselves, taking themselves on vacation. I remember, I don't know if y'all, I don't know how old y'all are or what dispensation you grew up in, but I remember people used to make fun of other people because they went on a date by themselves. They took themselves to the movies or they took themselves to dinner. And I thought to myself, why is you making fun of that person when you're not even going on a date? Go, go, go. Sorry, y'all. Go give it to your daddy. Sorry, y'all. Give me one moment. That's what happens. Here you go. Bye bye. Here. Bye bye. Okay. Go that way. Thank you. Thank you. Cameron, can you close the door? You're so sweet. Thank you. TT, really appreciate it. Here, close the door. I'm back, y'all. That's what happens when you spend time with people. They love you. They love you beyond measures. Hold on, let me close the door. See, that's what happens when you have um, a podcast in your back room. No, but I wanted to share my story, not just because I wanted y'all to be in my business, but I wanted y'all to see that people. I want to share number one vulnerability, right? I shared my story with y'all, and a lot of people took what happened and tried to come in my DMs and say like real reckless shit. Number one, you don't even know me. That's number one. And number two, I don't know why people think here's I don't know why people think that they could take things that you told them and then regurgitate it back to you and that's gonna make you feel less than. I don't know if they thought I was one of those people, but I'm not one of those people. Anything that I tell you, I told you. You know. I can see if you didn't know and then maybe somebody else told you and then you try to come, but I told you that. I have grown, I have healed, I have acknowledged, I have accepted, and I have moved on from that space. And if you are one of those people who take what someone tells you and try to regurgitate it, and I say regurgitate it because they probably told you that in confidence, they probably told you that because they wanted you to like, they felt comfortable with you and they told you that, you shouldn't like try to use that against people. But there are people in real life who will take someone else's hardships or experiences and try to use that against them to hurt them. I'm not one of those people. That's not me. I don't ride like that. I don't try to kick people while they're already down. I don't even know why people do that. I don't rock with the whole hurt people. I personally feel like, in my opinion, I told you at the beginning, I'm just going to express my opinion. I personally feel like that people just say that shit because they just not ready to heal. They not ready to acknowledge or take accountability for their actions. And if I tell people all the time, like I have a fucking conscience. If I say or do something and I feel some kind of way, it's gonna weigh heavy on me. Heavy it's gonna weigh. I used to wish that I could cuss people out and then just be moving on in my life. Like, people do fucked up, like real messed up, and doing, just be out here living. You be looking like, dang, I'm over here all broke up and can't eat and can't sleep and all this stuff going on with me. And then you looking at them like, man, they smiling, they having a good time, they partying, what they doing? A lot of them is just masking their feelings. That's all it is. They're not that happy. Cause I guarantee you, when they go in their house and they turn them lights off, take their clothes off, and be in the house by themselves, they probably be in there crying, trying to figure it out. We all trying to figure it out. Anybody that's not trying to figure it out since 2020, I don't even know. There's some people that still haven't figured it out yet. We've been in a pandemic for 3 years, and there's some people who still haven't figured out what they want to do with their life. It's 2023, the last Sunday of January. People still haven't figured it out yet. People are just flying by the seat of their pants. I don't even know what that. People are just flying by the seat of their pants. They just doing whatever feels good to them. I mean, that's what I'm doing, but I'm not out here. I don't. I don't subscribe to. I gotta step on other people to make it. I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to let me tear somebody else down so that I can look. I don't subscribe to that. I subscribe to, hey, listen, I had a really fucked up life. I endured a lot of shit that I don't think anybody else should feel or endure or even experience. So let me fucking talk to you about it. If you are in a situation where there is abuse, or if you are in a situation where your family is really fucked up and they're not gonna get help, they don't even acknowledge that, or they do acknowledge. This is a really crazy thing. Like, families really be acknowledging that they fucked up, but they won't do nothing about it. Oh yeah, we know this happened, but that's just how our family is. It's just, that's how. No, it's not like that. It's been going on for so long because no one had the courage to stand up and be like, the buck stops here. That probably wasn't a good play, but no one had the courage to say that. No one had the courage to say, you know what? I got hurt in this family and I don't want you. This is another thing I do. If you know that you experienced abuse in your family, right? Why would you subject your children to that same abuse? I know a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people be like, "Well, this happened to me, and look how it turned out. I ain't on drugs, or I don't do nothing like that." And I don't know why people think like when you be sexually abused or abuse happen to you, like you automatically gonna just be on drugs and alcohol. Like, why do people think that? There's people that like become sexaholics or nymphos, or like there's other things. Like, you become a workaholic. There's other things that happen as a result. But I guess because the two prevalent ones are alcohol and drugs. But there's other things that happen to people. You do know that, right? Like, people become really promiscuous, all kinds of things. Some people go inward and they don't like trust anybody. They don't have any intimate relationship. There's so many different things, but because we're not talking about healing, we're not talking about therapy, we're not talking about encouraging people to accept, like, express your emotions. We're not encouraging people to do that. Y'all, it's like 2023 and men are still afraid to fucking cry. They're afraid to be soft. I don't mind. I want to see people cry. When I first saw my mother cry, it was just like, damn, she cries. Cause I don't know if you like. I still look at my mother. And it's like, man, she's like amazing to me. Cause she don't tolerate. Now, I thought I tolerated some shit, but she don't tolerate some shit. I just be looking like I would never. And then when you start to think about it, when it's like, you ever heard the expression, "It's bigger than me"? When you think about it, it's like, it's bigger than me. Because at first, one of my friends asked me that. It was like, what if you have to talk about, what if it takes you talking about what happened to you for things to change? And I was just like, but why would it be me? Like, it's so many other people who talk about it and do. And then one day a situation happened and I was just like, you know what? That's not what it is. This is what happened. And then it was just like, I didn't know. It was so many different things. And then it's like, I just spoke my truth. And then it became something way bigger than that. And then me speaking my truth, of course, there was people that didn't like me. I was getting threats. It was all kinds of stuff. But that's what happens, right? So if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, once you start speaking your truth, or once you start setting boundaries and standing 10 toes down on them, I'm going to tell you right now, be prepared for people thinking that you switched up. You haven't really, well, you are switching up, but people are going to do that. People are most definitely going to say that you acting funny. People are definitely going to say that, oh, you think you better. You ever heard that? People be throwing that around all the time. Oh, you think you better because you got a new car. Or you think you better because you got a ring. Or you think you better because you think you better. And I was sitting here thinking, like, I never said I was better. I don't think that I'm better. I never said that I was better. I just was telling you who I am and what I do. I started this whole fucking podcast because I'm like, people don't talk about shit. How many times have your family members told you, hey, you need to heal from that breakup that you just went through? Or, hey, you need to heal from being molested by your uncle? Or you need to go to therapy to talk about what happened to your uncle? Or, you know what? We love you enough to put our uncle in. We called the police on our. Like, how many times have people actually done shit to actually show you that they care? Or has it always been like, oh, we don't talk about that? You coming to Christmas, girl? You coming to Thanksgiving? You coming to well, mama want us to take her out for, but you and your mama don't have that kind of relationship. Or your mama did some fucked up things. Or your mama put a bill in your name when you was 6 and your mama got a light bill in your name and you still paying the light bill off, or put an energy bill in your name and you still paying that bill off, or you got a bad mark on your credit because of that. Like, there's so many things that happen in our families, and instead of us like pivoting to do better, we still just go with it because, like, that's our family. Well, what are we supposed to do? That's my mama. What I'm supposed to do? That's my brother. What I'm supposed to do? Set that boundary and stand on it. Because regardless of what happens, that'll still be your mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, uncle. By blood, y'all blood related. That's gonna still be there. You don't have to talk. We literally don't have to talk to anybody if we don't want to. That's a right that you have as a human being. You ever had your mother or father or somebody you know tell you to say hi, or get him a hug, or you going over so and so house? You ever had that experience? You had somebody tell you what you're going to do? So many times in our lives, we have people telling us what we're going to do, what we're going to think, what we're going to wear, how we're going to do it. And it's just like, when do we take our own free, like, when do we use our power? When do we apply our power to our lives? Oh, you're going to be in a relationship with me to the ends of the earth. And then it's like, you stuck because you don't see yourself without that person, when in reality, you will be excelling without them. But then it's the, I don't want to start over. Then I have to get to know somebody else. That's the adventure of it all. Do y'all see how excited when I think about adventure? When I was younger, I used to love, you ever when you was little, made one of those little tent, you put the chairs together and you put a tent over it. You remember how, like, excited you was about exploring or finding out new things? You remember how excited you was? At 42, I have the same excitement that I had when I was younger. And it was from pivoting my thought process of how things are supposed to go, to just going a different way. And that's not saying disregarding all the things that I was taught when I was growing up, because I still hold a lot of those I hold those near and dear. Right here, I hold those. But in reality, a lot of the shit that we were taught is just because people didn't know any better. And they just only taught you what they knew. And I know it probably seemed like it took me a long time to get here, but I had to warm up. You know, I don't want to just come out the gate and be like, listen, if your family ain't shit, it's time for you to pivot from them. If you've been holding on, hoping and wishing and praying and giving as much as you can to the church or to the family, and it's like, one day they will change. What if one day they won't? What if one day it will never change? What if it doesn't be better? What are you going to do? Are you just going to sit and twiddle your fingers? Are you going to just be like, oh, well, let me just go? Or are you going to do what is best for you? Are you going to look at the situation, especially if you are a parent and you know that you experienced abuse or anything that was not conducive to you being a productive citizen in society? If you experience anything like that, if you are a parent and you subject your children to that same environment in which you grow up in, it's time for you to pivot. Build your own family. Share with them the things that you wish that you had. And this is what a lot of parents do, anyways. They buy their kids all the Jordans and Miss Me and all those expensive things. And then the kids going to school and people bullying them and all these different things. And it's not because it's not like, oh, I'm buying my kids this. It's because a lot of people don't have. And we live in a society now, especially with, I don't know if y'all see it on social media, like people are not happy with themselves, whether it's their physical appearance, is their inability to be successful at something. Like it's people that can post on social media and then get mad at other people because they post on social media. Like you could do the same thing that I'm doing. You just don't want to be on camera. You don't even got to be on camera. You could just post pictures. If you just post memes every day, that's creating content. But we live in a society now where people, if you are doing better than them, they feel some kind of way. They don't feel inspired to say, you did it, I could do it. A lot of the people do, but not the majority of them. The majority of them is like, oh, she fucking thinks she better, or he think he better. He think because look, she got a podcast and it's popping off. I don't think anything. Like if y'all been here since it started at 7, y'all probably like, what the fuck is she talking about? It all has to do with pivoting. It all has to do with pivoting. I be testing out every fucking thing. I literally just got this podcast because I feel like people don't talk about sensitive shit that needs to be talked about. Like right now, I'm hoping I said something in this entire conversation. Maybe you was one of those people who's like, yeah, I had a good weekend. And it was like, oh shit, I gotta go to work in the morning. Maybe you just recognize how your energy just came all the way down and now you yelling at your kids to go to bed, or you yelling at your kids to sit down because now you are in an irritated space because you got to go to work in the morning. If you don't like the job, quit it. I know we're in a global fucking pandemic, but quit it. If you haven't figured out that it is time for you to be happy at any time in the last 3 years, you could have checked out of here at any time. 2 years ago, you was like, yeah, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that and do this. You got a whole business plan outline. You got a whole everything on how you want us to go, but you didn't do it because maybe your family was like, why the fuck you want to do that? Or, bro, what you going to do that for? How you expect to get that? You don't got no money. What you going to do? And now you letting other people's expectations determine. I don't know if y'all can hear them gunshots, but they blasting outside my window. You let other people's expectations determine how you're going to lead your life. I'm gonna tell you this in case you don't ever hear this ever again in life. If no one has ever told you this, let me tell you this. Regardless of who you are, how much money you have, how beautiful you are, how tall you are, how fat, small, short, skinny, however you look, right? People will talk about you. People will talk about you. They gonna spread all of your business information, what they think they know about you. They're going to do that. Especially if you're on social media, they're going to do that. Here's what you need to do. You need to be so comfortable with yourself where anybody could say, oh, her left nostrils is bigger than her right nostrils. It doesn't cause you to feel any kind of way but blessed because you have 2 nostrils that you could still breathe out of. People come to you and say, why you want to start a business? You ain't smart. You don't got no money. You don't got that. You say, you know what? I'm going to start a business because it is my God-given right to do that. And I want to do something different. A lot of people are afraid of things that are different. They are afraid of things that inspires. Like people, I've been doing this YouTube positive affirmations, juicing, working out, and people's like, why do you do that? Why you gotta be all positive? You a fake guru and all of this stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm just want to be better in my life. If I was on here cussing people out and doing all of this, you will be cool with that. If I was on here doing pranking people, you will be cool with that. You'll be watching me all the time. But because I'm sitting here telling you about yourself, hey, you need to start focusing on yourself. Think about yourself. I'm not cool. I feel like I'm pretty cool. Because who else is going to tell you? You probably need to go to therapy and you need to heal. If I'm the first person to say it, that should have you looking at the people around you like, hey, what the fuck am I around you for? I told somebody, I was like, why are you and so friends? And he was like, oh, because you know. And I was like, that's the only reason why y'all friends? Like, I'm asking you, why are you friends with the people you're friends with? Why do you hang around the people you hang around with? I started to think about that and I was like, I really, to the detriment of myself, I be wanting people to win. Like, I be wanting people to win so bad. I be literally like, okay, you good at this, you could do this. And then it's like when it don't happen or when they don't see their own potential, I be like, oh my God, I'm failing them. Like, I feel some kind of way because I'm like, but you really good at this. I can help you. Okay. And then it's like, no, you got to dial back. They say you shouldn't date people for potential or purpose or something like that. I totally get it. You hear like you have you have friends and y'all sitting around and y'all talking like business ideas. It's like, okay, girl, yeah, you gonna start your makeup, you gonna start your t-shirt, you gonna start trucking, you gonna do all these different things. I'm saying all the different things that people are talking about starting business with, and then it's like that's it. Like January, it's like, oh, we gonna do all of this, and then it's like February, it ain't shit. March, it ain't shit. Then in summertime, it's like, yeah, we gotta do this because it's summertime, and then it's like, it ain't pop off, ain't nobody following, ain't nobody. This is why I be talking to artists, right? Um, I be telling them like, you make music. Most artists make music for themselves. They like make it because it's like it's therapy for them. Most artists make music for the fans. Like, oh, I want people to listen to this, so this is why I'm making it, right? But I say, if you never sit down and talk to me as your fan, how do I know? How do I know where to buy your music? How do I even know who you are? How do I know where to get your merch? If you have a show coming, how do I know if you never talk to me? What you mean? I be talking to them. I be telling them to go here. If I ain't seen you in 20 years and the first thing you come and say is, "Can I borrow $20?" Ain't you gonna look at me? Aren't you gonna look at me a certain way? Like, damn, I ain't saw you in 20 years. You ain't even gonna speak to me. We've been we've been doing music together for 20 years, and then I don't hear nothing from you. And then on the year 21, you send me, "Hey, check out my link." I know. I need you to build a relationship with me. That's what I'm about. I'm about building relationships with people. I know I'm just here talking on this podcast. And you're probably like, we ain't building a relationship. We are, because you might not become a regular. Let me check out her podcast, but you'll come back eventually because I'm building a rapport with you. That's what I like to do. I like to build that with people. I like to build that. I like to know about other people. And I'm just like, you know what? If I'm experiencing, like, I had a really bad breakup, and I'm like, if I'm experiencing this, I want to know. I had a major surgery, and I'm like, I need to talk to somebody who has had this surgery because I want to know. Because they told me, they gave me a time frame on when I will get back. They didn't say you could possibly. They were like, this is what's, 6 to 8 months, you'll be fine. You'll be able to get back and do everything that you were doing before. And here it is, damn near a year, and I am struggling with shit. Shit that previous to 2022 was no problem for me, but I am struggling. And so I was like, let me find a group, community, a Facebook group. Let me find some people on you. Let me find some people that has had this surgery. I go and find these people that's done had this surgery, and they like, honey, it took me 2, 4. I'm hearing high numbers of years, and I'm like, it's from fitness experts who had the surgery, and I'm just sitting here looking like, why don't they tell people shit like that? Like, why don't you give me everything? Like, this is what I like about the surgery team I had. They gave me everything. They told me everything. They didn't tell me about the six. They told me about the 6 to 8 months. They didn't tell me that there's a possibility it could be 2 to 4 years. But they gave me a really detailed everything, right? And so then after that, it was just like, okay, cool. And so then I'm asking questions. I see multiple doctors, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? Why is it? And they don't have an answer. And the crazy thing is, I go into the group and I say, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And it's like, oh, this is what it is. And then I get a message from my doctor, not my doctor, some other specialist, and was like, hey, you need to come in because we need to talk to you about this. Y'all didn't think about that at the beginning? What if I had not talked to the people in the group? This is why I was like, if we in life surround ourselves with people who are Um, not necessarily, not just not like minded, but people who are going to push us to be our greatest selves. Had I not been in a group with people that was like, you need to go back to your doctor, you need to say this, I probably would have just thought it was normal. That's real life, thought it was normal. Like, how many people wake up with panic attacks or have heart attacks, or you probably don't even know it's a panic attack? Like, you feel like the tightness in your chest and your heart beating fast, and you can hear it like it's loud, like it's sitting outside of your ears and it's beating fast, and you sitting here like, oh my God, what has happened to me? I don't know. I feel like I'm about to die. It's a panic attack. You probably sitting there right now like, damn, I had a panic attack. I'll be having those all the time. That's because the environment that you are in, your body is trying to tell you that you don't feel safe. There's something, like when you go into a situation and you get, like, some people say they hear a small voice or there's a pit in your stomach. Those are like warning signs. There's your body's warning signs. Some of us need to pivot from always doing everything that we're so used to start paying more attention to our body. You, like, if you know that you're lactose intolerant but you still eating dairy, you're only destroying or causing more harm to your body than you is. It is probably good going down. It's probably, oh my God, this ice cream is so good. But you're actually doing more harm than you are good. In 2023, our focus should be building a tempo or building a life that makes us happy. We don't talk to people about being happy. Girl, are you happy? Girl, he bought you this, she bought you this. All we think about materialistic things when we think about being happy. I think about life, period, and it makes me happy. Letting go of childhood traumas or walking through the childhood traumas and experiencing those feelings and knowing, like, I survived that. I don't have to keep reliving it because I survived it. That's not to say that things are going to trigger me, because some things do trigger me, but it's like I know how to say that I am safe, I am good. There's this can't harm me. And how do you figure those things out? Go to therapy. You done cast it on the altar. You done gave it to Jesus. You done told your best friend, your mama, your daddy, and it doesn't seem like it's moving. It doesn't seem like it's working. I'm going to say therapy. And I'm not going to say like therapy is the end all and be all, but if you combine your deity with therapy, that brings balance. If you always been like, okay, you know what? I just been handling it like this, and you gotta fight all the time, you gotta argue, you gotta just be a real aggressive. It's time for you to pivot. Pivot in 2023 and be more nicer. You got a mirror in your room, in your bathroom, right on there every day. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am handsome. I am successful. I am wealthy. Like, write positive affirmations to yourself. People, that we in a space right now where everybody is like woke or positive affirmation. I just use woke because that's the word they use. But everybody is trying to be in that positive space, and I rock with it. I rock with people, positive affirmations, manifestations. I rock with all of that, because if you actually think about it, that's the only way you're going to get to anywhere. Anyways, if you can't envision yourself being successful, you won't be successful. You will think that you're only just supposed to have what you have. If you grew up in an environment where nobody got out or nobody went past the block, you're not gonna try to strive for past the block, because nobody been past the block. You haven't seen that. We be calling people role models. It's like, these people don't be role models. They just be everyday human beings trying to live life and be happy. So many people was like, I heard somebody was like, man, I'm going to win a lottery. And I thought to myself, like, have you not researched lottery winners? Have you, like, most people be thinking, like, if I had money, everything would just be like, ta-da, rainbows and sunshine. That's just how it's going to be. No, that's only going to bring more problems than what you already have. You gonna have cousins, aunties, uncles coming out the woodworks like, remember I bought you that sandwich when you was 2, and I got you a soda too. The taxes increase, the inflation prices. Bro, remember I had let you drive my car and you crashed it? I think I needed to get a new car. It's gonna be all kinds of things. And then not even now, you gotta worry about people that's like trying to snake you. You You ever seen these celebrities that be like, yeah, man, it's my bro, it's my cousin, and they get set up by their own people that they call their bro and their cuz, family members? I just watched a TikTok. The girl said her grandmother had 6 kids, and none of the kids, none of the grandkids, none of the cousins would go and hang out with her grandmother. But she said she would spend a lot of time with her grandma. She would take her places and doing all those things. And she said her grandma died unexpectedly, and she said her grandma left everything to her in a will. And y'all know, y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all can figure out how that settled out in their family. And she did, she got a whole TikTok series about it. And I was so intrigued. Like, people be talking like it don't exist, but that stuff like that, real life exists. People won't kick it with you all while you alive, but the moment you pass away, they be ready. They right there and they ready to, oh, let me. It's 2023. It's the last Sunday of January. As we go into the remaining 11 months of 2023, here's what I want you to do. Just do this for me. If you can sit down and say, this is what I want to do. Like, I'll tell y'all, I'm going to tell you. So, I envision in 2023 bringing back my MK Live Groove Edition concert and planning. I'm not going to say I want to do it, but if it happens, it happens. I want to plan a one night only operatic concert. One night only. It's only going to be one night. Just one night. And I got the idea to do this because I was like, I love classical music and I love operas. I love arias. I just want to do that. Like, I feel like that I need to do that. I deserve to do that because I studied classical music for 7 years and I went through so much to learn. I went through so much to grow and understand and just build on that, that I should do that. That's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to plan it all out and maybe I'll have it top of 2024. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But the concert series is definitely going to happen. I've already planned, talked to it, got the venue. Now it's left to just get the artist, but it's going to happen. And it's not going to happen just because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to bring it back. No, I had a plan. I figured it worked in 2019. It worked at the start of 2020 before they shut everything down. It's time for me to stop being afraid. Stop being afraid of failing. Stop being afraid of being successful. Just stop being afraid and do what I know is in me to do. And I want to encourage you to do that. It's the last Sunday of January 2023. You won't get another January 2023. So, as we're in the last couple of days of January and heading into February, I want you to figure out what it is. How do you want, when you get to December, what is it that you want to be happy for? What is it that you want to have accomplished? Like, what is it? And then once you figure that out, from the moment you write it down, after you write it down and you look at it and you read it out loud or whatever, that next second should be you doing whatever it takes to accomplish those things. And I'm not just telling y'all to do that and I'm not going to do it. I'm telling y'all to do it because I am doing it. I have done it. Y'all are watching me. Nurturing Conversations podcast. You are hearing me on the podcast because I took my own advice. A lot of times we give out great advice. Great. Some of the most amazing advice. And you ever realize that most people who give the great advice have a hard time taking their own advice? I'm telling you, 2022 changed me for the better. I said every day I was going to be light, love, and positivity, and every day I literally found myself being light, love, and positivity. There's this saying that if you don't have anything good at all, don't say nothing. I don't know if that's how it go, but that's how I interpret it. And so in 2022, I completely understood what that meant. And it's not like you're talking bad about people, but it's like if you can't help a person in their situation, just be quiet. Because and you could end up causing more harm. So I just would say, you know what? I would love to listen to you. I would love to encourage you to go to therapy. I would encourage you to speak to someone. Because I feel a lot of times people just need to speak to people that aren't biased, that not going to judge them, because that's a big thing right now. Everybody is so afraid of being judged, but the reality of it is people judge you every day. People judge you every day. People talk about you every day. That's something you want is out of your control. You have no control over it. I can promote on my things that I'm doing daily meditations, but you know what people gonna talk about? Girl, you know she got a podcast on her YouTube. Who she thinks she is starting a podcast? People talk about stuff like that. You probably want to start a podcast and you're like, I need to use your phone. Set your phone up if you got voice recorder, if you got GarageBand, if you are on iPhone, set your phone up and just start. Who cares what people think? If they like it, they like it. If they don't, oh well. I know it's probably like it's easier said than done. No, the reality of it is if you stop applying the pressures of outside people to affect you and focus on what you want and what you don't want, your life will be far greater. And if people would stop putting their um lower expectations or stop putting their disappointments on other people, and then we wouldn't have to have people out here who feel like they got to do inhumane things to get their point across. We wouldn't have people who feel like they not successful because I don't have a million followers or people not saying my name or like none of that wouldn't matter. It's all vanity anyways. I do this because I really want to touch people. I want to talk to, maybe you're listening, is like, that's not the podcast for me, but you know somebody who needs to hear. Maybe you've been telling people like, hey, bro, you need to go talk to somebody because you know that's you need a little help. You going through a lot. You want somebody can guide you in a way, and maybe they're not listening to you, and maybe they'll listen to somebody else. You can refer them over to the podcast. I'm gonna always say multiple times, therapy, therapy, healing comes with therapy and a deity if that's how you feel. Healing needs to take place on a whole nother level, but we don't talk about healing because why would we talk about healing? That means we have to take accountability. That means we have to forgive. That means we have to let go. And a lot of us are so used to walking around with our traumas that we don't want to let it go. Who are we going to be without our traumas? That's a good one. Who are you without your trauma? See, I be coming up with titles while I'm just talking to y'all. I done wrote down three of them already. But who are you? It took me having a really bad breakup that played out over social media to understand why I say I don't want to. Why I say whenever I'm in a relationship, I'm not into the, oh, let's put it all over social media. I'm not, that's not me. It's not like I'm hiding the person because the person I'm with, they know that I'm with them. They know, but the people around us know that we are together. It's just it's that it's that social media part of it. I be vulnerable about everything, and I when I do, I'm not in a relationship right now. Let me clarify that. I'm not in a relationship right now. But when I do get in a relationship, I will want to make sure that we are both on the same page when it comes to sharing the relationship. Because I'm not with it, oh, let me just share it so y'all can see. No, I'm not. I could. Hmm. But it made me understand that that was one of my things where I talked about even in a previous relationship. It was like, this is why I don't do it, and then it turned out that's exactly why I don't do it, because things like that. It's like I don't. We can alleviate a lot of stresses in our life if we just follow our first mind and follow our hearts. But we don't, because we be trying to put other people's needs, minds, wants before our own wants and needs. And in 2022, I realized like that can't be anymore. I got to put myself first. I got to do what's best for me. And I've been thriving in doing that. I've been thriving in talking or sharing my experiences. And whether you believe it or not, like maybe you share your experience and somebody like take it and try to like turn it into something else. There's nothing you could do about that. You can't change how people perceive, or I can't do any of that. That's why I gave you all the disclaimers at the beginning of this podcast. I'm sure people gonna take something and be like, girl, because that's what people do. When you learn and understand people, you don't be affected by the things that they do or say, because you kind of already know that's what they're going to do. It's like you expecting a liar to tell the truth. You know that they're a liar. Why would they tell the truth? Yes, people can change. They can. But realistically, how many people are actually changing? Especially nowadays. People are so comfortable. People are so comfortable in the things that they are in. That's why they won't pivot. They're afraid to pivot because they know. I told somebody like I wasn't afraid to do shit because I couldn't do it or I didn't have the experience or I didn't know. I was afraid to do it because I knew what it meant. Starting the podcast, and then people start listening to the podcast, and then it's like, hey, I want to interview on my podcast. Hey, could you come and speak at these things? Because whether y'all believe it or not, maybe you want to be a personal or public speaker. Start a podcast. Just start speaking on topics that you could start speaking on anything and people will listen and they would invite you to speak. I said 2020, I wanted to do more public speaking. And I kept saying that. And then I started this whole podcast. This is where I really started because I really wanted to talk about topics that people don't talk about. And I wanted to be comfortable with the sound of my voice. And if you can't tell, I'm highly comfortable with it right now. But I wanted to do that to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm so far fucking out of my comfort zone where it's like, there is nothing that I cannot accomplish. If I put my mind to it, I figure it out. Oh, it's definitely going to happen. And guess what? 2023, y'all going to see all of the shit that I put my mind to and I said I wanted to do, and it's happening. And it all happened because I pivoted. Instead of blaming other people for why shit didn't work or blaming other people for me being in the state that I in, I took accountability of my own actions, thoughts, deeds, and I addressed myself. I forgave myself. I'm loving on myself. And I am in a much better space because of that. It's the pivot. It's if you've been doing things for the same way for so long, it's time for you to try something different. Maybe I wore my hair flat iron or in a ponytail because I had long hair all of my life. And one day I just went and cut all that shit off. I cut it all off. The freedom I had, I can't even put it into words what it felt like. And then it grew back and I got perms and I was doing all of that shit. But the natural pattern of my hair is really curly. I don't know if y'all can see it. It look like it's nappy right now. It's not. It's really, really curly, crinkly, wavily. And so I just got sick of it again. And I was like, cut it all off. And then I added some color to it. Y'all see the colors at the end? That's the color. And then it's like, it just really pops. And I was like, man, I really feel good. I'm doing something opposite of what I've ever done, what people have ever known me to do. And it was just like, I feel good. I've always been a rebel. I've always been a rebel for a cause, with the cause, for a cause, whatever you want to call it. I've always been a rebel. And I tried so hard. If you guys knew how hard I tried to like walk the straight and narrow. Now, I'm not one of those people that's out here just been like, fuck the world, fuck the system. I kind of am, but I'm not that extreme. But I feel more comfortable when I'm not walking the same path as other people. I feel more comfortable. Like when I don't have to fit in and I feel more comfortable. I'm not going to tap dance for anybody. That's number one, especially not at 42. If I don't like you, I will tell you that I don't like you. Here's why I don't like you. Here's what we can do to figure something out. If I don't want to talk to you, I know I don't have to talk to you. If I don't want to work with you, I know I don't have to work with you. I don't give a fuck about money. I said that at the beginning. I'll say it again. I don't give a fuck about money. Yes, money pay my bills and take care of the things that I need to take care of. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to do anything out of character or anything above and beyond to get money. I'm talented. I'm highly creative. There's nothing that I couldn't do. But that's not my objective. Money don't make me come here and turn these lights on. My passion for people and wanting to say, hey, you could pivot. You don't like that fucking job? Pivot. Go do what you want to do. You're not happy in that relationship? Pivot. Leave it. Leave it. You wanna I wanna be a film director. I wanna go to school. I wanna do all that. You can go to YouTube University. I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but a lot of the last couple of shows or like major shows that's been coming out is people who started on like YouTube or Vine or things like that. I just be thinking like all of these self-made millionaires. That's what I call them. So all these self-made millionaires who found their niche on these social platforms and took it to the moon, the stars. Not just like did it like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, I'm gonna be a Twitcher, I'm gonna be on TikTok, but actually utilize it to build it into something more. I'm utilizing my YouTube space to build it into Nurturing Conversation podcast, to build it into public speaking, to build it into all of these other things that I'm doing. This is just the foundations of it. You know what I'm saying? I came here to like nobody knew that I was doing a podcast. I literally just started 2023. I said I'm gonna start sharing it on all of my other platforms. And so I've been sharing it on all of my other platforms and letting people know every Sunday night at 7 I'm here talking shit. That's what I should say. That's what I'm gonna start saying. I'm here talking shit about life. Having a nurturing conversation about life. We're here having a nurturing conversation about life because people need to hear it. People need to hear. You need to hear this. If you are a parent, you need to hear love your fucking child. Don't just love them as like, oh, I carry them, or that's my son, or that's my daughter. Love them. Love them enough to ask them how their day have been. Love them enough to hug them. Be intimate. Not like that, but hug them, like touch them, like let them know what it feels like to be loved. It's okay for you to hug your child and say, I love you, and give them a kiss on the cheek or the forehead. Show them that so that when they get older and they start getting into these relationships and people are weird. We're going to throw that out there. People are weird. So when people start doing really weird and fucked up things to them, they don't see that as love. I was telling someone that many of us don't understand what the true definition of love is, because love is yelling, love is argumentative, love is physical abuse, love is abuse. Like that's what we know love to be. So if somebody is doing it to us, oh girl, he loved me. Oh bro, that's my girl, she loved me. That's not love, but that's what we come from in our environments, in our homes. That's what we know when is not love is not abuse. Love is not disrespect. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is what we're going to talk about in all February because we got to talk about it. Love. Self-love. Love for your children. Love for the humanity. Love. Love. I see how I lit up when I was talking about love. When you know love, when you have that good feeling like you with somebody and they just make you feel like they didn't say nothing, they didn't do anything, they just looked at you and you get that feeling and just be like, oh, love. There's no worries. There's no, just love. There's no, oh man, I don't know, I don't think there's love. You don't question, it's just love. Like you think it's a joke, right? Think about kids, right? Little kids, they don't have any fear. They come to know you as their parents or a guardian or somebody that loves them. They gonna love the hell out of you. They love you. They trust you. They all of that. Like it's so many things that we can learn from our childhood if we actually just take the time to look back. It's like remember that time where you was like so man. You was happy. You was just free. You tried everything. You wasn't afraid. If you fail, you fail. You remember riding your bike and you fell and it's like, I'm never getting on that fucking bike again. I screwed my knee. I said that. I was 10 years old. And I remember they had me this nice little bike with a basket on the front. It had the little shingly things on it. And I rode that bike and I called myself about to hit that corner, but that corner hit me and I scraped my knee. I said, I'll never get back on that bike again. I said that. And then I went and they cleaned it up, put the little, Vaseline, put the Band-Aid on there. And I was like, this bike ain't about to get the best of me. So I went and I rode that bike and I hit that corner. And then I hit that corner and I didn't fall off. Oh, it was over for there. I'm riding in the street. Now I'm riding with one hand. Now I'm riding with no hands. But what if I wouldn't have failed? Sometimes in life we be thinking we just gonna go straight. Oh, that's my goal, and be rich. And we just gonna go straight and we gonna be rich. Sometimes life gonna throw us a curveball. We're gonna have to make a left turn to make a right and then go back left. Then, go 4 blocks right and then we're gonna come back left and we're gonna be straight. We're gonna have to go through hills, mountains, valleys to get to where we wanna go. You're gonna have multiple partners, you're gonna have multiple jobs. Maybe you met your soulmate. I'm doing this because maybe you met your twin flame. It's all these different things, these words now, but maybe you met your life partner. Maybe, hey Jamila, maybe you dated your life partner 5 years ago, 10 years ago, a decade ago, right? You know that that's your life partner. Maybe y'all have been in other situations, y'all got other kids, and then life brings y'all back together. Y'all more mature. Y'all have an understanding of who you are, who he is, who she is, who she is, who he, whatever it is. Y'all have a better understanding of where y'all are in life, and then y'all come together, and it's just like, ah. That can happen. That actually does happen. I was literally thinking to myself, like, how many times do we tell people, like, not to go back? We experience so many different things in our lives, and it, like, causes us to, like, feel anger or bitter or hatred or hurt or whatever. And we're like, don't go back, or you don't go back. Only a dog go back to his vomit. Somebody told me that. They was like, only a dog go back to his vomit. And I was like, wait, why is that analogy being used right now? And I was just thinking, like, sometimes life circles back around. You ever had a circle back around moment? I had a circle back around moment. I had a bunch of circle back around moments. And I'm not just talking about a relationship, but I'm just talking about in life where it's like, if I had this opportunity again, you ever had one of those moments? If I had the opportunity again, I would definitely do this differently. And life has allotted me the opportunities again, and I am taking full advantage of these opportunities. Cause you ever, like, it's like, okay, the opportunity is there. It's like, you know that you can kill it. You know, like, you are the perfect fit. You know everything, right? Hello, MLW fisherman. You know, right? You know from the deepest, most innermost part. It's like, yeah, I know that's me all day. I know I can do that. I kill that. You will emulate. You be like, man, what if? I'm trying to think of Cardi B. What if Corey LeRae? What if Beyonce called? Right? It could happen. It could happen. What if somebody call and be like, hey, now we don't even gotta say Beyonce. Let's say Susan G. Komen. If you don't know who that is, Google it. Or your local woman's shelter. Say they're like, hey, we're doing something special for Mother's Day and we just want to make the mothers up and make them feel good. Are you free? Now, most people, that's not their lane. They're not trying to do that. They trying to be over here to do the celebrities. But if you think like me, let me give you an insight to how this can happen, right? You're trying to be a celebrity stylist because you want to be paid monetarily wise. But think about this. If you are over here doing makeup and you're helping domestic people, or you helping Susan D. Komen, people that experience breast cancer or any form of cancer, you're helping them feel beautiful. There is a certain level of love and respect and just life blessings that happen in that space. So you go over here and you're doing the makeup, and now you're on the news. Now they're talking about you on the radio. Now you got podcast interviews, all these things. You have literally become a celebrity. You see where I'm going with that? Like most people think, like I'll be talking to music artists. Most people think like, yeah, I'm gonna get on the radio and I'm going tour, and I'm like, that's cool and all, but you know that you could just turn your phone on. Like right now, I'm talking to y'all. You could know you could just sit in here and like, hey y'all, I'm got this beat. I'm about to write to it right now. You inviting me in, and I feel like I'm a part of your whole songwriting process. So now you like, hey, I'm going on tour. I got a show in your town tomorrow at this time. This is the price or whatever. Now I'm gonna go come to your show because I don't know if y'all listen to music or if y'all like on Instagram. I'm sure y'all seen LaRussell, right? The dude built a whole stage in his backyard. People literally people literally comes to his backyard. Pay him to come to his backyard to watch him do what he do every day. I've been saying I've been when I seen it I was like, "Oh my god. I've been saying for so long if somebody do this, like it will literally the shit would pop off because you know what he did, he appealed to the fans, he talked to the people who was going to buy his music, buy his albums, and this is what he does that is so that I this is what I've been trying to get people to see, right? He allows them to pay what they can, right? Now you probably thinking like people probably only give them 50 cents. When you allow people the option to pay what they can, they will give you whatever. And then y'all think about it. We was in a pandemic, so what? People got money. What? But listen, I'm gonna tell you this. You want to start that YouTube right now. Write down what you thinking about starting about the YouTube. What you gonna do on your YouTube? Write that down. But I want you to pick up your camera and I want you to look at your camera and say, "Hi, my name is whatever, and welcome to whatever your channel name is. On this channel, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to be doing on this channel. This is a brief introduction. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know the next time that I post another video, and end it and post that shit. Maybe your lighting is off, or maybe you mess up your words. Post it. And this is why I'm telling you to post it, right? Because the longer you sit with it, the longer you hold it, the longer you're going to have the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And then 2023, surviving a global fucking pandemic for 3 fucking years, or 2 years and a month. However, y'all do the math. Um, I'm not with that. Anything that comes to my mind for me to do, y'all gonna fucking see it. Y'all gonna fucking be a part of it. I'm doing it. There is no more, I don't know. I'm fucking doing it. And guess what? If it failed, okay, I'll take what worked and what didn't work. And if it's successful, I'm going to be like, hey, y'all, it worked. Y'all should definitely go do it. About this fucking podcast, I've been telling everybody, you should start a fucking podcast. What the fuck I'm going to talk about? What do you like talking about? It's people that have a whole fucking podcast to talk about other people on their podcast. They get sued and all, but they still got a podcast talking about other people. This is my set. I got 2 podcasts. I'm actually thinking about starting a 3rd podcast. I'm not thinking about it. I already started, so I can't say thinking about it starting it. I got 3 podcasts. And when I tell y'all, it's not, oh, I'm doing this because I'm doing this because it's shit that I wish people would say, but ain't nobody gonna really say it because we so used to like, oh no, you okay? It's like we survived a global fucking pandemic. No, we gonna get up off our asses and get to work. It's so much fucking money out here. That's for y'all people that just be like, man, I gotta get to the money. It's so much money and you can legally get it. Legally. You don't have to do no fucked up shit. You don't have to scam. You don't got to do none of that. You can legally get it. I know a lot of people was talking about generational wealth, and then we can't have generational wealth if we don't even teach financial literacy to the next generation. Because you could have $1,000,000 and pass $1,000,000 on to your kids, and your kids don't know nothing about how to maintain and y'all broke. I be telling music artists, like, you got music, your music can last forever. Think about it, right? Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, Tina Turner, those like 60s, 70s artists, right? It's 2023 and their music is still making money in 2023. Now, it might not be making them money, some of them, but it could. It most definitely could. If you are an artist or you're somebody that like to sing, make a fucking song and the song could live on for forever. Forever. this podcast, the audio from the podcast, the audio from your YouTube videos. It's so many different things that you can do with no worries, because in February, I'm going to be sharing all of these tips, tricks, and ideas and resources to everyone on my social medias. Because it's like, I told somebody, I say, you so upset, you feel so about going to a fucking job. And I say, it's people that's on Twitch sleeping and making money. And they didn't believe me. And I told them to go to Twitch. If you don't believe me, go to Twitch and type in "I'm only sleeping" and watch on the little left hand or right hand of the people's screen. They're going to have a donations tab, and the tab is going to be moving. Or you're going to see they have a goal at the top to pay the rent, to get a new computer or something. And it's going to be moving. And those people are sleeping. Sleeping. This is why I'm suggesting that you pivot, because maybe you like, oh, I got to go work hard. And I'm not saying that the people that's sleeping at home or sitting at home playing video games or just eating, slurping food or just whispering in a mic is not working hard. I'm basically saying it doesn't take as much as it used to. Pivot. I real life told my mother, I was like, you bought us every video game ever made. I do believe we had it, from ColecoVisions to the Virtual Boy to the Dreamcast. We literally had everything. We used to play Nintendo 64 all night. Duck Hunt. Do y'all remember Duck Hunt? Y'all probably was too young for that. But we had every video game. And I told my mother, she used to be like, y'all not going, you can't make a career out of playing video games. And here it are. It's people that retired from the music industry just to play video games. That should tell you something. That should tell you how much playing video games is like that. I'm just saying, if your child is interested in video games, you should, like, if your child is interested in doing YouTube. Do you know that Ryan's toy reviews started on YouTube? Listen, I don't have any kids, but I done told every one of my nieces and nephews' parents. I said, Kira is, my niece Kira, she has a YouTube. I'm going to share with y'all once all information. But I said, these kids need to be on YouTube. Because when I tell y'all, my nieces and nephews, when I do my regular videos, I come in, as soon as I turn the lights on, they say, hello, beautiful people. Welcome, and they know the whole spiel. And so I'll just let them do it sometime. So in February, y'all going to see a lot of them doing the whole intro. Get more people involved. Get the kids, teenagers, inspire them to do it. If they play video games, you definitely want to put them on Twitch. Encourage them to go to Twitch. If they play video games, if they do makeup, encourage them to do little things on TikTok. I'm telling you, I'm a wealth of resources. I can provide you with all kinds of ideas and everything. Hit me. My information is all of my information is in the description box down below. I just want people to be better, especially surviving a global fucking pandemic. I only had COVID once. I don't want it twice. There's people out here be like, girl, I had it 2 or 3 times. I don't want it. That first time was enough for me. It's like really that, and this, loss of losing my father, and then my mother being sick, and then me having a major surgery, that like changed the way I fucking look at things. I'm gonna tell you all real life, I don't got time for nothing. If it's not like pushing me or motivating me, if it doesn't, I don't have time for it. No, I don't. If it takes away from me spending time, I don't have time for it. I'm only doing things that I want to do that benefits everybody around me, but I want to do it. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. I literally tell people I don't go outside. I real life don't be going outside because I do everything from right here, but I'm not coming outside, especially if it doesn't benefit me or my family. Well, for what? No, I'll be right up in here talking to y'all, or TikTok or Twitch, or I have to get back into Facebook. I don't know. Facebook and Instagram is weird for me. I don't even know why, but they're weird. I'll be posting there. I do post there, but it's weird for me. It's weird. But my top 3, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. Those are my top 3. And I'll be going live on all of these platforms. All of them. 2020 February, Wednesday. Oh, y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna see so much of me. Y'all prepare to get sick of me because I'm gonna be everywhere. And that's just because I have something that I said to myself that I'm going to do. And I ain't gonna lie to myself. People be lying to everybody else, but and sometimes people be lying to themselves. But I'm not gonna lie to myself. I'm gonna tell myself the truth. When I'm messing up, I say, hey, you fucking up, right? It's time you gotta get it together. I would tell myself that. I would tell myself, hey. And then I listened to myself. And then I was like, if I could do that to myself, I should be able to, encourage other people. So here I am to say pivot. If you've been doing the same thing for the last 3 years, I'm not going to put 5, 10. I'm going to say the last 3 years or since 2020. If you've been doing the same thing and still expecting a different outcome, you are insane. And I'm not just calling you insane because I want to call you insane, but that's the definition. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result, you are insane. I want to encourage you to pivot. If you've been doing the relationship, the job, the YouTube, whatever you've been doing, if you've been doing it the same way and you don't see any increase in it, do something different. And I'm not just telling y'all because y'all should listen to me. I'm telling y'all because if you don't believe me, go look at my channel. I done did just about everything. I had to find what was right for me. And working out is right for me. Daily affirmations works for me. Karaoke works for me. And these podcasts work for me. I had to figure that out. The challenges is cool. They cool. I'm not knocking nobody to do the challenges. What I'm saying is that it's not me. I don't eat. I don't eat as much as that. But I said in February, I'm going to try to do more, not February because I'm going raw. But I'm going to try to do more challenges, just healthier versions of the challenges. But yeah, it's time for a pivot. This is the last Sunday of January. There are only 11 more months left in this year. Can y'all believe that? Like we already almost 2 days, away from a brand new year. Another month. 11 months left in this year. That's crazy to think. And then you're going to think about it. It's going to be summertime. We're going to be like, oh, it's August. And then it's going to be December. It's going to be like, Happy New Year all over again. Because I don't know if y'all noticed, like, time is flying. Remember when we were younger, it's like, man, I can't wait to be 18. And it seemed like it was forever away. But now it's like, dang, I just turned 40. I feel like I just turned 40 yesterday. Now I'm about to be 43. Whew. But I'm happy, though. I'm happy to be 43. I'm happy to be here on the 29th day of January. I'm happy to be in 2023. I'm happy that I actually put the title to the podcast. I'm happy to have this podcast, and I only hope that I get better. I have ideas of how I want to get better, and it's all trial and error. That's what life is. You try something, it don't work. You take what didn't work, and you fix it and learn from it. That's all I got, y'all. It's important to pivot. It's time to pivot. Don't take that same mentality into February. What you failed in January, make sure you don't fail in it in February. Learn how you fail. If you said you was going to diet and you've been drinking sodas and eating chips, cakes, cookies, and pies, because I understand it. I understand it. Ever since I had the surgery, I've been craving, and I don't be craving anything, but I've been craving Sprites, and I don't even like soda. But Sprites has just been on my mind. Sprites and Vintner's ginger ale. I don't know if you ever had a Vintner's. It is Vintner's, Vnors. I think that's, and I end up saying Vintner's. I don't know, but it's come in a green can. It's got like a little man on it. It is some of the most amazing ginger ale and Sprite. I don't know why, but and oyster crackers. I don't know what that's about, but hey, that's what my thing is. And I know that. So it's just like, I can't have soda. If I want to get a soda, what I do, I turn up a lot of water, or I make tea. And I got something special coming up for February, so I'll share more about that, when it comes time. But yeah, it's time to pivot. Pivoting has been extremely beneficial for me in my life, and I just want to encourage you to pivot. If you don't like your job, pivot. If If you're not happy in a relationship, pivot. If your family isn't bringing you peace, joy, and happiness, pivot. Do the opposite of what it is. Do the opposite. Pivot. That's all I got. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. I will never let a live video, vlog, short, podcast, workout, juicing, anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love yourself. This includes your faults, fears, and failures. Know yourself, trust yourself, and for the love of humanity, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you, I need you, this great big old world needs you to be exactly who you were created to be. Why? Because everyone else is already taken care of. And anybody that cannot love, respect, or appreciate you for you being authentically you does not deserve to be in your space. Set those boundaries and stand 10 toes down on them. Don't forget to get your toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectant, set some cash money to the side because I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but these grocery prices is getting out of hand. I remember I could go to the store and get a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables and didn't have to spend a lot of money. Now it's like I may as well go ahead and get me a garden in the backyard because, whew. Anyways, if you are someone that is engaging in adult activities, make sure you wrap that shit up because STDs, despite being in a global fucking pandemic, is on the rise. Make sure you wash your hands because we are in influenza season and COVID still exists. That's all I got. Until next time, I love you and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful evening.